It's showtime.
Hello and welcome to Musical Lyrical Lingo. We're your hosts, Tim
and LJ. Today and every week we will be discussing musicals, but specifically what they taught us.
We're back.
I love it. This is like my highlight of the week.
Therapy, our weekly therapy session together.
Not that we need therapy.
I think I do sometimes, to be fair.
Well, possibly. Possibly we do.
I think everybody does, to be fair.
Well, I think it's a healthy thing, just to be able to chat about how you're feeling.
And if not, just chat about musicals, sure.
And that's why we have this podcast.
If you do not want to talk about yourself, you can talk about a musical instead.
Yeah, and there's always a musical to fit your mood.
That is very true. What musical are you feeling with your mood today?
Oh, I was going to say Funhouse, but not, only because I was like, I'm very house focused. So is there a musical that's focused on a house? No, there's one called Funhouse, but it's about...
it's very deep and depressing at times. I'm not so sure you would want that.
But yes, there is one called Our House too.
Our House.
I like that wee musical.
In the middle of your... Bizarre, bonkers.
Oh, no, I like it. I think it works.
It is madness. Well done, Aaron. Yeah. Sorry, if you hear the person whispering in the background, it's our Aaron. He's not very well today. No. Are you, Aaron? Say something.
No, not at all. No voice.
And that is him talking at full volume, folks. So if we sound very loud, it's Aaron's fault because we've turned all our mics up just in case he might say something. I hope you feel better soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That's awful. I should make fun. That's terrible.
Her bad.
We've got your back, Aaron. Don't worry. We won't require too much help today. I mean, he doesn't even have the laptop open in front of him, so if we need his help, we're stuffed.
He's got his phone. He can use that.
He's got his phone. And more importantly, he's got a magazine which isn't musical related. Some might say he's dropping the ball.
I mean...
Whether he's sick or not. Anyway, so you're going for Our House with regards to your mood today?
Yeah, but I'm not. Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay.
What about you?
Singing in the Rain.
Aye, Desperate Well.
Honestly, I'm raging. So I am a teacher by trade, for all the listeners who maybe have forgotten. Yeah, I just do this stuff for fun.
I'm a teacher by trade.
By trade, I teach the future.
Love it.
Monday to Friday, apart from the last week where I've been off and it's rained all day, every day.
Well, we had a few days of nice weather. I know. But that's not bad in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, well, it's all right. Not during holiday time, though. That's unacceptable.
I mean, there's no such thing as bad weather. There's just bad preparation.
Oh, because... Right, okay.
As in, if you go outside, you should have an umbrella, a raincoat, wellies.
Yeah, but Lauren, when you wake up in the morning and it's hammering... you're not really going to go outside unless you're an absolute psychopath.
Well, what else? You might have to go outside for some milk.
I get into the car. I drive to the shop. Random. So random. We should also say happy birthday to you.
Oh, thanks.
Did you have a good birthday?
I did, and then we had a lovely little soiree.
We did have a soiree.
I know, with some of our besties. That was lovely.
And karaoke didn't come out. I just thought it was going to be like musical theatre overload.
But no, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was good to be nice.
We're such interesting people that we can't talk about other things other than musicals.
That is it. There was a lot. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time.
I did.
How are the aches and pains? Because obviously you're getting old.
Well, I actually have noticed a few more.
I told you.
That's not fun.
You're nearly 40.
No, I'm still not. See, you're coming into your 38th year now. I've only just turned 37. EP has just looked, because he just turned 38 this week too.
Because he's an old man. He's much older than any of us.
Anyway, it's fine.
All good?
Yeah, all good.
Good.
All good. Oh my goodness, my headphone fell out. Nearly couldn't hear me there.
Oh, we heard you, don't worry.
Oh, right, okay.
All the listeners have just covered their ears after that crack of a earphone.
Do you know what's really weird? Because it is maybe a wee bit rainy outside, and now that we have these mics, you do sound like you're whispering in my ear, and there's a wee bit of like ASMR going on.
And
it
whispering
feels
sweet
very
nothings.
like, even though it's April, it feels very like moody and sensual or something.
Babes, that's just how I talk.
Well, I do. I kind of feel, oh, this is interesting.
Am I racing your motor? It's not, to be honest, I'll be honest with you, it's not what I thought you were going to say there.
Sometimes the intros of these podcasts, I'm like, what? How did I get from there?
To be honest with you, Lauren, you tend to be the one that takes us down,
Takes us a wee bit too far.
you know, alleyway that we don't want to go down. Certainly not in the dark, anyway. Anyway, shall we move on to this week? Let's move on quickly this week, honestly, before you get us cancelled.
I know, I was trying to find out my wee mug. I'm wondering, is it on this?
Oh, Lauren has a mug which has like the logos of every musical ever invented. Who got you that mug?
My best friend.
I wonder who that might have been.
Oh no.
The one with the like really sexy husky voice, isn't it? Yeah. Not Aaron it today anyway.
Oh no, it's not on this.
The musical?
Yeah, musical's not on this.
Oh, that's disappointing.
It is. What is this week's musical?
It's Catch Me If You Can.
Yes.
And that's not me flirting with you.
No. And actually, this musical was recommended to us. Remember, way back a few months ago, we asked you guys, and actually we've been asking for a wee while, just send us your suggestions. So this was suggested to us by a fan.
The listeners are very polite, aren't they? They're not very demanding, which is lovely. Like, it means we can do whatever the heck we want. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was one of the ones that popped up.
Yeah, and we thought, well, let's give it a go.
Which is an interesting choice.
It is an interesting choice.
Yeah, so Catch Me If You Can. What about it? Tell us all.
A musical drama with libretto, is that the right word?
Yeah, the libretto.
Yeah, which is a text used in an extended musical work.
There you go, Aaron, because Aaron won't have known that, will you?
So the libretto is by Terence McNally, so you would know him from Ragtime and the lovely musical Anastasia.
Yes.
Beautiful music.
Which I saw recently, actually.
The score is by the duo, Mark Shaman. Is that how we say his name?
Yep.
And Scott Whitman. So we know them from Hairspray.
Yeah, and then they did the music for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the musical. Mm-hmm. And then they did the music for Mary Poppins Returns.
They did.
And they did I thought the music in it was really good.
Yeah.
Especially when there was so much hype and also the potential for them to absolutely ruin the original.
True.
By having a really bad sequel.
Yeah.
But I thought they did a great job.
No, and I also didn't realise Mark Shaman did music in Beaches, and he was the MD for Bette Midler for a while.
Yeah, he's done a lot.
Yeah.
When you look at his CV, there's a lot of film and TV work there.
There is.
That you wouldn't necessarily
realise that was him.
Yeah. Hairspray's his biggie, isn't it? Like, I think that's what made him.
And also this song, which everybody knows and was obsessed with, if like us you were obsessed with the TV show Smash.
Yeah.
Let me be your star, which is the wrong tune.
Which is now a legit musical.
I know.
Which is very exciting.
Yeah, so is it just finishing workshops?
I think so, yeah. They've had their sits probe and things like that, so I think it's pretty much ready to go into previews soon. And it is new. It's Broadway, isn't it?
Yeah. And also, fun fact as well, they've written music for Some Like It Hot, which has been on Broadway.
Yes.
And Save the City, which is Rogers the Musical, from the Marvel TV series Hawkeye, which is actually hilarious. So in Hawkeye they go and see a musical, and it is based on the very first Avengers movie that they've turned into a musical, and everybody loved it.
Okay.
So much so that Disney did it in one of the parks for a couple of weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
right, okay.
It was really fun.
That was for Marvel, that's quite a brave choice, isn't it, to kind of throw musicals into... Do you know what I mean? Because you wouldn't think, the Marvel clientele would necessarily be the singing and high-kicking dancing folk
And
as
it was done really tongue-in-cheek, like, oh my
Okay.
goodness, he's away to see a musical, and he, like, Hawkeye's looking around like, why are all my friends being portrayed on stage in a musical? It doesn't work. And then all, like, people who were watching it were going, oh my gosh, we want more of Rogers the Musical.
Yeah. Oh, bless we are. And he's just left the room and we can hear him, like,
Still
dying in the kitchen. Coughing. Oh, he's very considerate, isn't he?
Yeah. Anyway, that was a lot about the score.
But can I just mention, because I saw this too when I was researching, that phrase musical drama, bizarre, isn't it? It is bizarre how people describe shows.
Yeah.
So this is a musical drama, meaning what exactly?
Well, yeah, because
Isn't it?
It's
bizarre. Well, it's a musical. Like, how is this musical different from many other musicals?
Is it because it's based on real life?
Maybe. That's why I don't know the answer. That's why I wanted to bring it up. Because when I read that myself, I went, well, what do they mean by a musical drama? And then I was going, so what is different about this musical that other musicals doesn't have? And I couldn't quite work out the reasoning for billing it like that.
The only thing I can think of is because you associate drama with more straight-laced plays and drama as, not making you feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
And maybe because this, because at the end there is that, like, nice duo where they kind of, well, everything turned out okay in the end type thing. So you do kind of leave it going, oh, it was all right.
But there's lots of musicals like that.
I know. I'm
that aren't
trying
called
to think
musical
of
dramas. And then I was like, you can't even describe it as a play with music.
No,
because
definitely
there's
is a
too
musical.
much music in it for it. Yeah. I just thought it was very interesting.
Interesting.
At the end of the day, it could be one person's choice of words, I suppose. But it's funny you wrote that down in your notes as well. I was like, what do they mean by musical drama?
I think I just thought it worked because it was based on a real life story.
Yeah.
And it is based on...
It is.
The story is based on the film Catch Me If You Can, which follows the story of the con artist Frank Abagnale Jr.
Yeah.
So this is unique because Frank Abagnale Jr. wrote a book which was then turned into a film, and then this, instead of going to the original source material, the book, and Abigail's life, they just made a musical based on the film.
Yeah, that's it. So the majority of the plot is borrowed from the film.
Yeah.
But the film was based on the 1980 autobiography.
Yeah.
By the same name, by Abagnale
Abagnale,
and Stan Redding. That was the two of them wrote that original autobiography.
Sorry, we'll turn your mic on.
Is that because more people have seen the movie than read the book, do you think?
Yeah, and maybe because the movie was so popular. And
Yeah.
no, as in, sorry, it was so loved, not popular. Sorry, it was so loved, and I do think everybody in that, Tom Hanks is in it, and Leonardo DiCaprio's in it, Christopher Walken's in it, and they're memorable, even though it's a real life, they're memorable characters for the characters that they played. So,
Full disclosure time.
you've never seen it.
I had not seen... Calm down. I had not seen the film until we agreed that we would do this episode, so I obviously have watched the film. Yeah, it's a great film, but I also think there's so much in the film that I would need to rewatch it again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was brilliant, and as you say, all of those names that you've mentioned, they were brilliant. It amazed me how young Leonardo DiCaprio looked playing Frank, but then it's amazing that this con man started being a con man at the young age that he did. Was he like 17, 16 or so? Yeah. And Tom Hanks is brilliant as the detective who finally caught him, but was sent on a merry dance. And what's that called when you go wild goose chase? Yeah, no, I loved the film. But I also did love the sound of this musical when I first heard it. So I kind of knew what it was
yeah.
about, but I just had never seen the film.
Oh, it's such a good movie. And actually, we dedication to Aaron's lovely granda, who did love Frank Abagnale Jr., loved the story, but loved the book, and then found out that a film was made, but the film had been out for years. So Aaron was able to say, you know, oh, there's a film about it, and he watched it, and he did love it.
That's amazing.
So, very cute. Very cute.
It is. It is a good film. So if you haven't seen it, you should watch it.
Yeah.
I am disappointed in myself that it's been so long.
But it is one of those
so long before I watched it myself.
Films that you can watch over and over again. And you'll not get bored of it because there is, like you said, so much in it. And I think it's realising that it was a real story.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
And I actually think the musical guys, Terence McNally, he's done a good job. And Mark and Scott, it kind of seems to match really well. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've picked a lot from the film.
Yeah.
And you can hear that very clearly when you listen to this musical.
You can. So in 2009, there was a tryout in Seattle. Mm-hmm. It then moved to Broadway in 2011, where it did receive 4 Tony nominations.
That's
including
right.
Best Musical and Best Actor for Norbert Leo Butz.
Who plays the detective.
The detective, that's right. It did start way back in 2005, where in a reading, which we know was a
Here
workshop.
we go again. What shall we call this one?
And 2 people that were attached to it back in 2005 were Nathan Lane and Matthew Morrison.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Then that turned into a private workshop, and Nathan Lane was still attached to it then, and Christian Burrell then came in. Aaron DeVette was then brought in, as well as Kerry Butler, and Aaron and Kerry were then the ones that did it in Seattle, and then moved to Broadway. Yeah. Unfortunately, it only had 32 previews and 170 regular performances before it was gone forever.
Yeah. It was quite a limited run, really, wasn't it? It also amazes me. So Aaron Tveit, he played Frank, so the leading man. I'm quite surprised he didn't get nominated for a Tony. Like, even if he didn't win, like, even to have received a nomination, because it's so clear that the show revolves around 2 men. Do you know what I mean? Him and Norbert Leo Butz. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was quite interesting that one got nominated and the other didn't. And I don't think it was because he did a bad job. Like, he sounds incredible on the cast recording. So I was quite surprised that there wasn't even a nomination in there.
So was I, and I think a lot of people were as well. I have seen that version.
Oh, have you seen it?
Mm-hmm.
When did you see it? I'm raging, so jealous.
And you need to see this musical to understand this musical. I say this a lot.
Even if you've seen the film?
Yes. Because listening to the soundtrack, I feel it doesn't make sense all of the time. But whenever you see, so that first song, "Life in Living Colour," is
Life in Living Colour.
Abagnale has been caught, and he is about to go to jail for a very long time because from the age of 16 to 21, he embezzled so much money. Yeah. That he just owes a lot of money to the US government. And there's no getting out of it. Absolutely no getting out of it. So he says, "Let me tell my story." And he does it as if it's an old 60s TV show. So that's what Life in Living Colour is all about.
Oh, okay.
So that's why the songs happen. That's why it's able to be a musical, is because it's all happening in his head. He's like acting it out for this is how I did this is how I did this is how I did this. Because at one point, what is the character's name that Norbert Leo Butz plays?
Detective somebody.
The detective turns around and says, "Why are these people dancing? Why are these people singing?" So he breaks the fourth wall. Yeah, okay. And it works. Yeah. But sometimes just listening to the album, you're not sure how it's a musical if you really understand the film.
Well, I watched the film and then I went, oh, okay, I get it, because the film also starts with Frank has been arrested. Do you know what I mean? And then the rest of the film goes through basically what he did and how his story panned out.
You're just cleverer than I am.
So I just went, oh, Life in Living Colour. He's talking about his life and what it was like. Do you know what I mean? The detective is called Carl Hanratty, yeah, that Tom Hanks played. Yeah, Jack O'Brien was the director and Jerry Mitchell was the choreographer, who is one of my favourite choreographers, so I just wanted to mention that. He's Kinky Boots fame and Legally Blonde fame, and they were the same creative team for the hit musical Hairspray. So it's quite interesting that there's a lot of characters, or there's a lot of names that were linked to and Hairspray was a mega hit, wasn't it?
And Catch Me If You Can, spectacularly dancers. Like, the dancing is unbelievable in this show.
Okay.
Really good. The costumes, amazing. Yeah. Which is why I don't understand why it only lasted a very short time. And I think if there's Amdram companies out there and they can get the rights to do this show. I 100% agree. A chorus-heavy show. Unbelievable. And if you have some really strong males, because it is quite male heavy too, but the girls are all the dancers, you would sell out. It would be fantastic to see a local production.
I mean, I am available.
Okay, great. To play required.
I actually think I would prefer to play the Shut up. Are you serious? I was going to say the detective, because I actually really like one of the detective songs. Yeah. It blows my mind that it was so limited in America. Now, it has had international productions in South Korea, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Poland and Germany, but as of yet, no UK production. No. Which really shocks me. Like, I think it would do quite well in the West End.
I think it would too. I think it would do really well on tour. I do think it would do well on tour. It did have a non-equity tour in 2012. Okay. Which I thought was really intriguing. So that just means that the actors were underpaid what they should have been paid.
Yeah, because they didn't have equity going. Yeah. No. Yeah. They are not doing it for that money.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Love the catchy tunes and insightful discussions on Musical Lyrical Lingo? Why would you not? Now you can reap your fandom. Ooh, we've got fans. And show off your love of all things musical theatre with our exclusive merchandise. Ooh.
From comfy tees,
t-shirts,
mugs to stylish tote bags, we have something for every fan. Our designs are inspired by the show's iconic themes.
Because we are so iconic.
And featured playful quotes, alpha, and graphics that will have you humming along.
I will never work again.
Wherever you go.
So head over to our merch store now and start shopping. Spend your money, people. And don't forget to share your pics on our social media using #podcast Musical Lyrical Lingo merch. We love to see our fans rocking our gear.
Yes, we do. Happy shopping. But yeah, no, I think if any Amdram companies can do this, do it. Jump on it.
Producers just bring it to the UK. Give it a go. Give it a chance.
It is a great story.
And I think it's a great musical. Like, I think there's enough in it to for it to be an enjoyable evening at the theatre. Now, you might not go away having learnt massive life lessons, but you'll have gone away having had a good night in the theatre.
Yeah, definitely entertainment. What I would say, if anybody hasn't listened to the musical, give it a couple of listens, because some of the songs I don't think grab you on the first attention.
Oh my goodness, we are disagreeing an awful lot on this. Yeah.
No, I think it took me a couple of listens and then a watch to go, I like this.
No, on first listening, I immediately went, oh my God, I love this.
Oh, that's so... No, a couple of the songs I was hooked on.
Yeah.
And was humming.
When we get our stand ovations at the end, it was really hard for me to write down one or two
songs.
Yeah. There was too many that I thought, no, that was a real banger. And I suppose one of the main reasons I was immediately hooked will come on to one of my first musical lyrical lingos. Are we at that stage?
Yeah,
I suppose we
go.
are, aren't we? Shall we just dive into them? Because it was the first time my ears had experienced Aaron Tveit.
Okay.
I hadn't heard him before, and I was like, who is this young buck? Like, he sounds fantastic. And he, like, his songs are big numbers, like.
Yeah. And he has that same energy that I think Leonardo DiCaprio was able to capture in the film. And he emphasizes how young Frank is at the beginning, and then sort of the life lessons that he learned along the way kind of develops who he becomes in the end. But I think Aaron does a great job at just staying slightly innocent. Does that make sense?
Well, I think he was quite, like, it was one of the first things that he did. Now, he's gone on to, you know, do Wicked and Hairspray and Next to Normal. He won the Tony Award recently for Best Actress. He's
Actor.
Never talk to me again. I'm off the Christmas card list now. Best Actor in a Musical for Moulin Rouge. He originated the part of Christian in it, and he's currently in Sweeney Todd as Sweeney. Yeah. And we did talk about that, didn't we? That production or that casting. Yeah. Because Aaron and then Sutton Foster have just gone into it recently as Mrs. Lovett and Sweeney Todd respectively. But they're going down a hit because we originally had gone, I don't know about that casting. I'm not so sure. No,
they are finishing that run. It is closing. So
is the show closing or just there? Is that? Okay.
The show's closing. So I think that's probably a wise decision. I'm not sure if it could have gone on anymore. I think his take on Sweeney is certainly a little bit different to even Josh Groban's before and anybody that has. But I like him. Yeah. Seeing him first was introduced to CMGU in this musical, but at the Tony Awards whenever they did a couple of numbers from it, and then since then, like, I love him as a couple of the characters in Schmigadoon. Yeah, and he's so funny and hilarious. Yeah. That kind of gave me a new love for him as well. So.
But his voice is stunning. It is. Like, that was the first time I experienced that voice. I didn't know who it was. I had to go, who is this person? Okay. So that was my first musical lyrical lingo, and that's part of the reason why I was immediately hooked when I heard the cast recording for the first time, because I went, okay, his voice is amazing. And then he sings another really good song, and then another really good song. And I'm like, actually, the songs are brilliant in this show. Yeah. Really good.
And he is good, but also Norbert Liebert is amazing. And fun fact was he was the original Fiyero. Thank you. In Wicked, and then obviously Aaron went on to play that role too. So it's kind of cute.
Because at that point in his career, he was much more established, wasn't he? He also played one of the lead roles in another one of my favourite musicals, which I didn't expect, Dirty Run Scoundrels.
Okay.
Yeah, right. And he's really good in it as well. Okay. And his character is similar in sound to the detective songs in this show. Yeah, I'm like, okay.
I think he definitely deserved the Tony for this role. Yeah. He's so good.
Did he win it or did he?
No, he won it.
He did win it? Oh, right, okay.
He was so just mesmerising, and just has that characteristics down in every single section and every single moment of his singing and acting.
Yeah, very good. I also was introduced to Frank. Yeah. I didn't know that story. Obviously, I hadn't watched the film or anything like that. So, yeah. And to be fair, it didn't make me go immediately to watch the film, but I don't know what that means or what that says.
Interesting.
I think maybe the musical was enough for me at that point in time.
Okay. Yeah, that's grand. That's okay. I'll let you get away with that.
What about you? What are your musical lyrical lingos?
So this a song that Frank Abagnale sings. He is Frank Abagnale Jr.'s dad. The pinstripes are all that they see. Yeah. So it says the pinstripes are all that they see, or the back-to-back jacks. Mm-hmm. So this could mean quick succession. It could be a baseball term, but for me, I think it's talking about Jack Daniels.
Oh, is it
like
not?
Back-to-back jacks?
Hold on, is it not cards? Oh. And gambling?
It's a baseball reference. Oh. Because whenever he talks about the pinstripes in the movie, he says about the reason the Yankees always win is because everybody's mesmerised by their pinstripes. They're focused on the pinstripes. So I would assume it's a baseball reference.
Oh, okay.
I left that one off my musical lyrical lingo because I thought it was like a gambling card game reference, and the last time I was absolutely ridiculed when we talked about card games and gambling and poker, and I thought, I'm not even bringing it up because they're just going to go for the jugular again. But I was wrong, completely wrong.
Yeah. Well,
I should have researched that then.
Yeah.
And then I also got one from Pinstripes. When your mother, because Frank Abagnale Jr. is kind of basically telling them the way of the land, and this is how you need to act, and this is how you become successful, and all the rest of it.
How he met his wife.
Exactly. So he sings, when your mother walked into that dance hall in Montrecard, what did she see? And I didn't know where Montrecard was. It is a town or former commune in the Loire-et-Cher department in Le Français.
Okay.
I mean, terrible. My French teacher would be absolutely ashamed. It's certainly not the same level of my, GCSE French oral that I got in A.
Okay, interesting.
But it's been many years since I've practiced the tongue of Le Français.
Well, I knew I had to be in France somewhere because she's French.
Yes, that's true.
So.
Well, I didn't know she was French.
Oh, but she sings with a French accent in all of her songs.
It could have been a French accent, or it could have been a number of different international accents to me.
Okay.
I didn't quite get that tongue from her, but hey-ho.
Well, yeah, so he's talking about his dress, and he says bespoke to the nines. So then, as we all know, my brain goes off. I was like, what? We always say that, like, dress to the nines.
Yeah.
So, but where did that expression first come from? Did you have this too? Were you okay? Bless you.
My goodness me, do apologise.
So this expression, the nines, so there's two. So the nines came from the Robert Burns poem. The poem is pastoral poetry in 1791, though this paints old nature to the nines in thy sweet Candalonian lines. Or it was by William Hamilton, who was another Scottish poet, and he says, how to the nines they did content me, which is from Epistle to Ramsay. But I'm going to stick with Robert Burns, even though William Hamilton came first.
I've read both of those poems multiple times.
I just think Robert Burns one makes more sense, because in the William Hamilton it says, how to the nines they did content me. Well, I just think Robert Burns, though paints old nature to the nines in thy sweet Candalonian lines.
And if you're just tuning into the podcast, we're just in the middle of our
poetry corner.
Literature. What's that thing you would have done in school?
English literature.
English literature.
Okay.
I just stuck to the bog standard English. Thank you. But yes, well done.
Yeah. Okay.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Can we move on to Jet Set?
Oh, I've got one more in that where they mention...
Is it another poem?
No.
Okay.
Mentions Bernard Toots Shore, and he was the owner of Toots Shore Restaurant in Manhattan, and that is where all the big celebrities of that era hung out.
Nice.
That was a nice wee nod to
That
them.
is a nice wee nod.
Yes, let's go to Jet Set.
I would love to live the Jet Set lifestyle.
I mean, how clever of Abagnale. For those that maybe don't know the story, so he pretended he was a teacher, pretended he was a pilot, and pretended he was a doctor and a lawyer.
Yeah.
But he was never a pilot. He just pretty much put on a uniform and sat in the back.
Yeah.
And got these... What?
He sat in the dead seat.
Sat in the dead seat and just got all these free flights and also payment.
Paid to do it, yeah.
Yeah. It was class. Anyway.
Well, in Jet Set, it says, where there's cheese enough to start this rat race.
Yeah.
And that idea of a rat race, I didn't really know what that was all about. So a way of life in which people are caught up in a fiercely competitive struggle for wealth or power.
Yeah, and funny, mine comes from that exact same line where...
Okay.
So this is the girls from Pan Am, which was very much of that 60s era as well. And...
it was an airline, wasn't it? Pan America?
Yeah.
American.
And the girls sing "Just Left Wisconsin," where there's cheese enough to start this rat race. So then Wisconsin is actually the
Wisconsin.
It's
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Okay, dead on. Listen, you're the one that did English literature, not me.
It's Wisconsin.
I just know all of the listeners are
but that is actually the American Dairyland. So there is a lot of cheese.
We
in
have
there.
to go there. We'd be all right.
We could
West
eat our
Wisconsin.
way through the whole state. We could be like a wee rat making our way through.
Excuse you. Never been called a rat in my life. I mean, you were complimenting my vocal tones at the beginning. Now you're calling me a rat.
No.
See, the love doesn't last long, does it? But thanks to the brothers Wright, we don't know where we'll sleep tonight. That's another lyric from Jet Set. And it refers to the brothers Wright, refer to Orville and Wilbur Wright, who were two American aviation pioneers, generally credited for inventing, building and flying the world's first successful aeroplane.
Indeed.
So it makes sense that they're referenced in a song
because
called Jet Set.
If they weren't, there'd be something wrong.
Yeah. Right down to Italy from La Bella Femina.
Yeah, go for it.
La Bella Femina. I'm just practicing from summer
For
holidays to
your summer
Italy.
holidays, yeah, I was gonna say.
It translates to the beautiful female.
Oh, just like me.
La Bella Femina.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah,
That's my
you're
new
right.
nickname.
Do you want me to do it in my husky tones?
No,
La
that's
Bella
weird.
Femina.
Stop it.
And then they also... Do you have any from Jet Set? I feel like I'm taking
mine.
over.
No, you took mine, but that's okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No,
I've
it's
got
all
another
right.
one.
It's okay. We share.
Jump in a fountain for a big dose of La Dolce Vita.
Yeah.
So Catch Me If You Can is set in the 60s.
Yes.
So this is a reference to the movie La Dolce Vita.
Oh, okay.
Which was released in 1960. In the movie, Anita Ekberg's character, Sylvia, jumps into a fountain.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
There you go.
Oh, I like that. That's nice.
Yeah, because I just presumed it was another, like, geographical reference. La Dolce Vita, because I can't speak Italian.
But what does that mean, La Dolce Vita? I thought
It's a
that-
film.
No.
Oh, right, okay. I don't know what it actually
Pretty
means.
sure Dolce Vita means something else.
Well,
I just thought it was like
if Aaron was doing his job, he might be able to look it up, but sure, it's okay.
happy times or something like
He's
that.
sick, we'll get let him off this week.
Okay, keep going.
That's it for Jet Set.
Yeah, no, that's me. All.
Are you
Yes.
serious?
Yeah, that's
Did you
me.
run out of time for researching this week?
It means a sweet life.
Yes, the sweet life.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah.
Your voice has come back a wee bit.
Thanks, I'm ready to sing.
Yeah. Shall we do a wee duet?
No, let's just keep going.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because I
No.
feel like I knew
You're
most
just
of everything.
much more intelligent than me.
Yeah.
Right, well, don't break the rules. Why are you laughing?
Because it's not true. Go.
I was being sincere there too.
Don't break the rules. Love this song.
My favourite.
Love this song. I could see you singing this song.
I think that's why I would rather play the detective than play Frank. Because it's this song that I love.
See the way, have
Don't
you seen?
break the rules.
Yeah, that
We're
way there.
living in the wild,
The way the shoulders
wild
go,
west. Don't break the rules.
The dancing in this number
Yeah.
is fab, and it's all that like click, do, boom. You
Yeah.
know, all of that. Yeah, you would be very good at
It's
this.
like on my playlist of just standout like dance numbers in musicals. Do you know what I mean? Like not the ones that you would expect.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the wee ones that kind of surprise you, and you go, "Oh, that's so clever."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this number, the detective's kind of holding court, and he's like, "This is what you don't do."
Yeah, so
Don't break the rules.
he started his chase of trying to find Frank, and he, gets so far, and then, still isn't able to catch up with him. But the other policemen are like, "You really like this, you really enjoy this detective work, and have you always been like that?" And then through song, he explains
His career, basically, and
that
what he's done.
he pretty much from the playground, he was always knew right from wrong, and
Yeah.
would always follow the rules, which is a bit like Aaron. Like Aaron doesn't like to break rules. Like if there's rules set, he's like, "No, it says to stand behind this black line. I can't go past this black line."
I'd be like that too, though. Are you not? Are you a bit of a rebel?
Sometimes I'd be like, if it's convenient for me, I'll do what's convenient for me.
Another rebel without a cause.
Without a clue, maybe?
That's very true. Well, in Don't Break the Rules, he sings, "No, I never snuck a drink. I never stole a pack of Kools, Kools. Cools, introduced by Brown and Williamson Tobacco Company in 1933, was an unfiltered 70mm regular cigarette.
Oh, I just thought like Coles was, I knew it was a cigarette, but I didn't realise it was a brand. I just thought that meant...
That's just a lack of research, Lauren. Coles was the first menthol cigarette to be nationally distributed by the then growing and expanding tobacco industry, and thus was the first popular menthol cigarette.
Oh, see?
Hence the word Coles, I suppose. Menthol, Coles, I don't know.
Teaches you everything.
Yeah, I mean, it teaches you about cigarettes, which I'm not so sure we should be putting out there.
No.
Drink and smoke sensibly, folks. Just don't smoke. He also sings, well, it started back with Moses when he led around the Jews and climbed way up that mountain to pick up God's daily news. He schlepped up old Mount Sinai?
No, don't say it.
Sinai.
Yeah.
Cried and begged on their behalf. He almost dropped those tablets when he saw that gold calf, right? So, two things.
Okay.
I wouldn't be as acquainted with the Bible, so the second one's biblical, but the first one, it was that word schlepped. Schlepped. Schleppet. Do you know what that means?
No.
Haul or carry something heavy or awkward. Isn't that a brilliant word? Schlepped. I feel like I have to say it in a funny accent. Schlepped.
I just thought it meant slipped.
Schlepped.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, carries it or haul something heavy.
I love it.
I know. Who knew the tablets that he was carrying were so heavy? Obviously not medication tablets, those big bits of stone that they would have written on. Yeah. But that also references then Exodus 32:19.
Yeah, where Moses went to get the 10 Commandments and then came down and seen that everybody was worshipping the golden calf and then broke them and had to go back up to God and get them a second time.
Yeah, you see, he didn't drop them. He was furious and he hurled them at the ground. Silly Moses. Because, I mean, he just had to do the whole thing again, didn't he? He had to go back to God and get more
so
tablets. So angry. Grr. Yeah, there we go. So that was mine for Don't Break the Rules. But because I did do research, I've got more.
Keep going.
So Don't Be a Stranger.
Yeah, which the mum sings.
Yeah.
See,
and
I know.
That's a nice, wee song, isn't it? I kind of feel a wee bit sorry for her, both in the...
I don't. I
in
never
the film,
feel sorry for her.
Do you not?
No.
Apart from the end when he goes back in the film, because I don't know if this happens in the musical. Does he go back at the end to his mum and she's got a new family in it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so sad.
No, I don't really feel sorry for her. I suppose it's hard to look at somebody else as married and then say, oh, you shouldn't be cheating on them and you shouldn't leave them, but you don't know what's going on there. But I just always am like, oh, I feel like the dad always tried his best.
Did he? Was he not a bit of a schmuck and
No, I feel like he did try his best, and then that's how I took it.
But did he not have different women and stuff as well? Was he not? He was faithful to her, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, I maybe read that wrong. She sings, what's the expression? Qu'est-ce que c'est? He's a chip off the old block. Now, I did a Lauren on this one and went down a rabbit warren.
Oh, I love it.
Because that... Obviously, that idiom, chip off the old block, I'm, everyone's familiar with. But I was like, where did that originate from? So, the saying, which is meaning someone who is like their father or mother, a parent, but in character or appearance, it is generally accepted that, you might need to help me here, Aaron, or maybe Lauren, Theocritus, a Greek poet born in Sicily, wrote the first...
Theocritus.
What is that?
Theocritus.
There you go. He wrote the first iteration of this idiom around 230 BC. The phrase in its original format referred to how a chip of a particular piece of wood or stone is the same as the larger part. Right?
Okay, yes.
Then it reappeared in British writing. At the beginning around 1627, notably in the anonymous, oh my God, I can't say that word, anonymously, there we go, author, this makes me laugh,
what?
Dick of Devonshire and Bishop Robert Sanders. I sermons. I did not make those those names
You
up.
sure?
I swear. So in these, the Dick of Devonshire sermons, as Chip of the same block.
Oh, okay.
Just going to turn my page here.
Okay, turn it.
Now, the version that we know it for now was included finally in the Oxford English Dictionary in 1929, cementing it as the idiom that we know today.
Ah, I love it.
That was a wee Lauren Warren.
I love
Rabbit
it though.
Warren,
I love
wasn't
it. Yeah, that's cool. Oh,
Oh no, I was just going to say, I would have thought it was older than that. You know, it's quite a young phrase.
Yeah. 230 BC?
Well, no, I'm being out of the dictionary.
I thought you were coming on to say well done, Tim. I thought I was going to raise.
Also, could I say well done, Tim? That was brilliant.
Thank you. Cheers. Just like to make Aaron happy.
did you want it to be?
I mean, going into the dictionary.
Oh yeah, fair.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
For it having been around for all those years, for Oxford to finally go, okay, we'll shove it into a dictionary.
That's probably exactly how it was said to.
They maybe had a wee chat with the Dick of Devonshire, and he went, okay, stick it in there. Oh my goodness, moving on really quickly. Anyway, his father in the same number.
Oh my god.
We're still talking about don't be a stranger, I'll be a stranger next week, they'll not have me back.
How do you do this?
How'd I land myself in holes every week?
Stop.
No, that was you. His father had a head for dreams, but not the Midas touch.
Yeah.
Again, Midas touch, I'd heard that mentioned, but I didn't know what it was. What's the Midas touch, Lauren?
Well, it's the folklore story of Midas, and he was able to. Well, he was King Midas.
Yeah.
And he touched his daughter, and then his daughter turned to gold.
Yes. Yeah. So there we go.
He had wished for everything that he touched gold, and his daughter was she sick or crying or something, and then he accidentally touched her, and then she turned to gold.
Yeah, anything he touched turned to gold, really. Yeah, so it was just a reference to that Greek myth. And it in a way, it's saying that Frank's father wasn't good at making money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we know from the story.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why Frank tries to give him money and he doesn't, and he turns into a postman. He's like, why are you working as a postman? He's like, well, I have to make money somehow.
Yeah. That word schmuck, which I've already used in this.
Schmuck.
I now realise why it was so fresh in my head, because it's in that number.
Ah, okay.
I guess I guess to you I say my schmuck. Mm-hmm. And a schmuck is a North American way of saying a foolish or a contemptible person.
Yep.
I'm no schmuck.
I thought it was a Hebrew word, but it's maybe not. Just a...
Maybe. Now, my last musical lyrical lingo comes from another one of those songs, which I just thought was really classy, really cool, called Seven Wonders, where it introduces us to, if you out there listeners like me aren't really a fay with the wonders of the world, listen to this song, because you'll get quite a few of them.
So this is where Frank is singing to his real love of his life, his girlfriend, and he meets her when he's being a doctor, but he has said that he also studied law at this point. And then he's sort of accepted into her family, and they are having this nice little sing-song together. Yeah. Well, he's just singing to her, really, isn't he?
She does then get involved.
Oh, no, she does, okay.
What I love about this song is, it starts with him, bringing up these, some of the seven wonders of the world. And then she says, well, what about this one? But for each of the wonders of the world that are mentioned in the song, he has almost like a put down, in that they're not as fantastic as you. And I just thought some of his descriptions of them were really funny. So can you remember any in the song?
No, I just remember the ones that he mentions.
Are you going to fire her for lack of research?
It wasn't lack of research.
You're fired.
No, it's not lack of research. I just didn't learn anything.
Because you know them all, but you can't name. I've just asked you to name some.
You said...
What do you have to name the seven wonders
No,
of the ancient world?
I can see... I can
the
name
ones
them.
that are mentioned.
Stonehenge, the city, or the Great Wall of China.
No.
Leaning Tower of
Hanging Cards
Pisa.
of Babylon.
Yeah.
The Lighthouse of Alexandria. the pyramids of Giza, the Colossus of Rhodes, the Stonehenge isn't an ancient
You
wonder
see,
of the world.
but this is this is what confused me, because so like when you look at a list of wonders of the world, there's like 20 plus, but there's like 7 that are seen as the ancient, and they're not all in this song. Yeah,
it was done by the Greeks originally. I think it was like as a part of an ancient attempt at what would you call that? Like tourism, trying to encourage people to move around their empire.
Yeah.
So that's why they're all in that like sort of Mediterranean.
But they're not all mentioned in it now. Loads of the other like wonders of the world are mentioned, but you did get Stonehenge, which is mentioned.
See, I knew that. Leaning
not
Tower of Pisa is definitely sings about that.
Okay.
So for Stonehenge, he said his put down of Stonehenge was just a bunch of bricks.
Yeah.
Or rocks, sorry, just a bunch of rocks. For the Leaning Tower of Pisa, he says, looks like something up and broke.
Yeah.
I thought, I just love these. The pyramids, he called them just a dusty pile of bricks. The Taj Mahal, a fixer-upper. The Grand Canyon, just a hole.
Oh, yeah.
The Grand Canal in Venice, I love this one. Although I love this country, so I'm a bit offended. Oh. An Italian toilet bowl.
Wow. Oh dear.
The Aurora Borealis.
Aurora Borealis, love it.
Just a nightlife on the fritz. Now, on that one, I went, well, what does he mean on the fritz? So that was a bit of my musical lyrical lingo. On the fritz means something that's just not working properly.
Yeah. It's like
Did you know on the fritz?
Yeah.
It's a bit like on the Ritz.
It is a wee bit like on the Ritz. It is.
Stepping out with my baby. La Belle, the Braise Tower.
La Braise.
I'd never heard of that before in my life until this. He called it the Pits, but is it like tar or something? Like bubbling tar in like LA or something?
Yeah, it's in LA. Yeah, you can go and... Sorry, I turned his mic off. Yeah, you can go and see it.
Because she got annoyed with him.
Yeah, I think it's in LA. It's not where they find like the dinosaur bones and stuff.
Yeah.
The remnants,
Apparently it's like one of the world's biggest like collection of fossils there or something.
Yeah, so it is. It's just, and you can go do the day and just have a look at these tar pits.
Yeah.
But it's in California.
Never been, would love to go.
Yeah, no, actually, it's always been on our list whenever we've been there, as in we could go there and then we probably just go to Disneyland.
Well, I had never heard of it, and then when I looked it up, I went, oh, that would be quite cool to see. And then the last one that he mentions is Mount Rushmore. And he says, someone climb up there and tell those boys a joke. So I just thought, clever writing from, Mark Shaman and Scott Whitman. There you go. There's my musical lyrical lingo. Sorry it took so long.
No, I love it. I watched a wee interview with the two boys.
Mark and Scott.
Just about how Catch Me If You Can sort of became up and running, and how they found the process and how different it was to Hairspray. And really what they said was Hairspray was already a musical in its original form. This was a lot more difficult because there was a lot more people involved.
Okay.
And it was a movie that they were turning into a musical, and more people had opinions.
Okay.
So the creative process was a little bit more challenging.
And was it a wee bit more diluted then, maybe, because there were so many people, there were more people involved?
And there was also a comment about the number of producers. And this seems to be a thing. There's a new Huey Lewis in the News musical about to take place in Broadway at the minute. And if my information is correct, there's about 50 producers attached to this.
That's an insane number of producers. Do you know, if you need that many producers to put on a show, don't put it on, because it also will boil down to money, won't it?
Yeah, which is where I think a lot of people are saying, technically there's already a Huey Lewis in the News musical with Back to the Future. So why are we pushing for another one with this many producers attached to it? So I just found that interview interesting, that they struggled, even though these guys are very successful and had a very successful musical. Like, we've seen that, but we've seen this loads of times before through this podcast. Just because you've written something good once doesn't mean that you'll write something successful the next time. But they found this a challenging process, but they really drew on their own experiences of young kids watching variety shows with like Doris Day and Judy Garland and like Frank Sinatra. And you can, whenever you understand them too as people and their influences, you can hear that in the music.
Yeah.
You can see how then the musical was able to be a bit of a we're doing it like a variety show rather than just putting on a musical. You know, there's it's as if you're watching a show.
Yeah. Well, so you've seen it and I haven't seen it. So, in your opinion, why was it not successful?
I don't know. I think too much money was involved, too many people were involved, and they weren't going to get that money back. So they decided to shut it down early rather than lose a huge amount of money. Spectacularly, it is wonderful. Dancing, brilliant. Costumes, over the top. That butter out of cream.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. A number in the musical.
Amazing, and so over the top.
What did they dress up as? Bits of butter and
like
cartons
pancakes,
of cream? Oh, right.
Waffles, eggs.
Did anybody dress up as a mouse?
No.
Isn't that the reference?
Yes, that's a reference.
Oh, yeah.
Two mice fall into a bowl
that's
of
it.
bowl of cream.
Yeah.
Or a bowl of milk.
A bowl of cream and one doesn't.
Turns it to butter. That's what it is, something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
You do love this film, don't you?
I do love the film. Really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
And like I said, Aaron's brilliant in it. Norbert is brilliant in it. The songs work.
I thought you were talking about our EP, our executive producer there. I was like, Aaron, I didn't know you'd done a little turn.
Think it was a financial decision, the reason why it was closed.
And in Jet Set, they did like have a big full scale airplane on
and
the stage, didn't they?
Also, the staging is really clever. It's all, well, I don't want to say really clever. That's why I could see it being done by a smaller production team. It's kind of, how do you describe that? Like old style, like Frank Sinatra, like cabaret shows where there's two staircases up the side and then the band is up at the top and then all of the acting sort of happens around here and then they use the stairs for different numbers. So like Pan Am becomes the top of the stairs and then they sort of come in wheels and their legs are like so long and they're dancing and kicking, and I just don't see how you could go and see this show and not enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why they pulled it after 170 performances. It doesn't seem right.
Yeah, well that's it. And back to like Jerry Mitchell, I know I rattle on, but like as choreographer and choreography goes, like there's nothing, in my opinion, there's nothing he's done that hasn't been like, wow.
Yeah.
So I although I've never seen it, I know it will have been that, certainly that aspect will have been spectacular.
Yeah. And there are lots of little clips on YouTube, even just from the Tonys and stuff. And even whenever you see what they did, you're like, oh, that it's really intriguing. So that's the only thing I can think of, is that people went to see it thinking it was maybe going to be the movie, and it is the movie, but with singing. People either just didn't get it, or financially they were never going to make their money back.
Because even the story has everything. Like it's so exciting and thrilling what he did, and you know how he conned so many people. But also there's a real heart to the story, and that relationship between him and his family first of all, but then him and the relationship he ended up having with Carl, the detective. Do you know what I mean? Like that's such a beautiful subplot almost.
And actually in this interview, that's what they're able to talk about, is that you can see that I really feel the relationship in the film between the father and son is there, but they were able to bring that out more in the musical, and that love really is one of the key things throughout it. And at the end, whenever the two of them are singing and he's been caught and he's going, you know, they talk about in real life how actually Carl becomes godfather to Frank's children.
That's it. There's a real friendship there between, I think probably based on respect. Yeah. I think, you know, there had to be an element of respect for just how Frank actually was able to do what he did. Yeah. And a lot of today's anti-fraud like systems are there because of Frank, because he ended up working for the FBI, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He served, 4 of his 10 years, and then was under the care of Carl.
Yeah.
And
4 of his 10 years in prison, and then came out under the care of Carl. Yeah.
And I think as well that friendship, that love, it is shown. I was going to say something else there about the two of them, but I can't remember. Throughout the musical, Carl constantly asks, how did you cheat the bar? How did you cheat the system? And at the very end, he's like, I didn't. I passed it. Like, I studied for it and passed it. And then you're like, this guy was just so clever.
Yeah.
He's so clever.
I love that moment when Carl realises just who he's chasing. And in fact, how, like, he's a kid. He goes, he's a kid. Yeah. And is that the bit where he's in the hotel room?
He's in the hotel room and he discovers like comic books and baseball stamps, but it's also the phone call at Christmas. So Frank phones him at Christmas and said, "You still haven't caught me," and he realizes that he's lonely, and that he would be lonely. You would only really be lonely like that if you were a kid. Yeah.
Come on, producers, get it out there on tour, or get it out in at least West End so we can go over for a wee trip.
Yeah, and I'm actually so glad that Gareth suggested this. That's our friend, because it probably isn't something that we would have just done maybe this early on.
Certainly not in the second season. No. Maybe further down the line if we're still doing this malarkey.
I know,
but you're right.
I think I do. I will stick to my guns and say, do give it a couple of listens.
And I'll stick to my guns and go, I didn't need it.
Okay.
On first listening, genuinely, I just went, this is a belter of a musical. Like, what on earth?
Yeah. And try and watch some of the little snippets that there are online.
You see, I avoided that, I think. But now that I've seen the film, I might just have a wee look and see.
Yeah. I enjoyed
what's out there. No documentaries for this one, though?
No, just
the film.
Well, no, it wasn't really a documentary. It was just like interviews with them. So there was a little bit of research that way. What about your standing ovation?
I was going to say, what about it for you? Because you're the person that saw it.
And live and color.
That opening number. Yeah. I just think so clever. Like, the opening number is a belter, but I also think the closing number is well, certainly Frank's closing number. Is it the closing number of the show, or is it the last one he sings on his own?
The last one he sings on his own.
Okay, there is one or two after that, isn't there? Yeah. But it's called Goodbye, and it's like unbelievable.
Yeah.
I also like Someone Else's Skin.
Yes, that's
the
a good
detective's
one.
number.
That is a good one.
Yeah. Don't Break the Rules.
Yeah.
Oh, is Someone Else's Skin not? It's not. It's Frank sings that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I also like
when he is having to decide. His parents are going through a divorce, and he's almost having to decide who. And that's where you can see the start of his brain kind of going, "I'm going to go off and be somebody else.
Make my own way." Yeah. I also love because this is the only thing, the female character feels like almost like a side kind of thing. And Carrie Butler, like an incredible musical theatre actress, who then she went on and did Beetlejuice and stuff, didn't she?
She did Beetlejuice, Legally Blonde.
And she's got a really distinctive voice too. But she doesn't have that many songs, but one of the songs she does have is called Fly, Fly Away, which is just gorgeous as well.
Yeah, and she discovers that Frank has left and she's like devastated, but she's like, okay, well, you're not, I can't fight for you and you're gone.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful.
Do you know what? Hats off to Mark Shaman and Scott Whitman, because it's very seldom you would see a musical where every character, regardless of how, supporting, has a banger of a number. Like, every character even the mother, she has a great number, the father has a great, all of the numbers are really good for their character. It's not like a wee filler or, a kind of by the wayside, or it's there just to give that character a number. Like, they're all decent. Like, if you think about additions, like any of those songs would be good addition numbers, because they're good, meaty songs for all the characters.
And a lot of those songs that are duets are entertaining on their own. So if you were doing a cabaret night, or you were doing a show with your friend and you needed a song to sing, pick one of those songs from Catch Me If You Can. Like especially the end number, I can't remember the title of it now, but just the way they talk in it, and it would just be something a little bit different compared to maybe what we're used to seeing before.
Yeah.
So
it's been nice doing a more modern musical. We've kind of had a run of
Yeah.
older musicals. In fact, it's just nice talking about a musical that isn't an Andrew Lloyd Webber one.
It is.
For a while, I thought he had shares in the podcast, to be quite honest with you. I was like, he's certainly not giving me any backhand wads of cash.
Definitely
he's got
not.
plenty of it.
Yeah.
It's his birthday recently.
It was him and Sondheim's. They share a birthday.
Lovely song time.
I know.
Very good. I enjoyed
that was fun. I enjoyed that, so thank you. See, do give us your recommendations. They do work out.
We listen sometimes.
We do. If it suits our needs.
That could be the... I'm just thinking out loud here. That could be the soundtrack to my life. Life in Living Colour. I should wake up every morning and just sing that.
Yeah.
Life in Living Colour.
It's like, because it kind of starts off a bit dark. And then whenever he goes, wait, I'm going to tell you how it is. It's going to be in my terms. And then this sparkly red jacket. And then Carl's like, why are all these dancers here? What's going on?
I'm raging
Frank,
that I haven't seen
come
it.
back.
I would love it, wouldn't I?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. For just the dancing alone, you would love it. But they are tall, leggy, beautiful ladies. Like
I'm tall and leggy too. What are you talking about?
They are stunning. Not only the moves that they are doing.
Sorry, were you going to say that, Aaron, about my legs?
Were you about to say them?
I was just taking more of an interest.
Oh, because
yeah.
okay.
I mean, I can't cope. I don't feel safe here. He likes the sound of my voice, and he likes my legs. Listen, you can't get any better than me. Anyway, that'll do us for this week, I think.
Yeah, that's us.
I found the rain stopped. Let's go out into the back garden and have a wee dance around.
Okay, no more singing in the rain.
Yeah, unless it starts raining, then we'll get the umbrellas out. Can do that too.
Okay.
We are so talented.
See, no bad thing. Rain, as long as you're prepared, it's not a bad thing.
When it's been on for a week, it is. Anyway,
all right.
We've been here.
Well, we shall see you next week. Bye.
Maybe. Bye.